Last week we looked at the art of passing. This week we look at another very individual skill, being able to dribble.
George Best is famous for his skills as a dribbler. And in this practice game against Oldham Athletic, he demonstrates some of the magic that has made him one of the most feared dribblers of all time. Dribbling skill like this comes only with practice. And practice begins for our young players in the coaching grid. Here, like a bag of worms, they twist in and out, trying to keep control of the ball, and at the same time being careful to avoid the other members of the group. George Best joins in, showing that even the greatest dribblers can enjoy and learn from a practice situation, as simple and yet as complicated as this. Notice how he caresses the ball with the inside and the outside of the foot. Last week we talked about passing. This week, the inside and the outside of the foot are being used to bring the ball under control. Look how he changes direction and suddenly changes pace. See how the ball is constantly under his control. His body twists and turns, as yours will need to do when it comes to facing opponents in the actual game. Now the boys are practicing their dribbling. They are playing a game 1 against 1 in the 10-yard square. The object is to attack, beat your opponent, and finish with the ball under control on his line. The main constituents of dribbling skill: change of pace, change of direction. Now George Best comes in as a defender. Watch the control of the boy who beats him. And now it's George's turn to attack his youthful defender. Notice the change of direction, but his opponent is not fooled. George has to come close and commit the defender, who gets his weight the wrong way, allowing George to move off in the other direction. Now it's Roy's turn. See how he sends George the wrong way, and he comes through changing direction. To underline the point, George makes the same maneuver again. 1 against 1 football like this is an enjoyable and instructive way to develop dribbling skill. In all games of this nature, a target should be set. For example, the first to score 5 goals. Because we should always remember that soccer as a game is based on the number of goals scored. And now the practice becomes more intense, and George takes Roy out to show him how to attack the 2 defenders. In this practice, the 2 boys are restricted to a single grid each, and George's task is to try and beat both and finish with the ball under control on the line that is nearest to us. The first defender is beaten. The ball is kept under control. A change of direction, a change of pace, but his opponent is not fooled. Again, a change of direction, and the ball is pushed through. Back to the professional game. See how the ball is always under George's control, always within playing distance. In this sequence in the same game, George is in the outside right position. Notice the exaggerated change of direction. And now the change of pace to accelerate through the gap between the two defenders. Only a desperate tackle by the goalkeeper saves the goal. Controlled skill, change of pace, and change of direction like that should be the goal for all young players to aim for in mastering dribbling skill. So that ends today's practice session. But first, George recaps on the main points.
Right, boys, we've been practicing some dribbling. Now, what you must remember, two of the most important things about dribbling, you must keep the ball as close as possible to you at all times. And you must be able to dribble with both the inside and the outside of the boot. And as we talked last week about passing, you must develop a sort of touch for the ball without having to look at it, and be able to know where it is at all time without having to keep looking down at the ground. So you must remember, you don't have to watch the ball. You must be able to feel and know where it is. And if you've got it as close as possible to you, you learn to feel where it is without looking at it all the time. Try and beat one or two men in a small space. And after, the same as everything, the more practice you get at it, the better you'll become. So I think that sort of wraps up the dribbling. Next week we'll talk about moving off the ball.